Hello, first graders. Welcome to a new English lesson. Please get your literature and anthology book ready and let's start. We are on page 90 and 91. Let's start. We're still talking about animals and we're still learning how animals survive and what they eat. We also cover a few words that it's related to the lesson, and we can help us to explain and understand, such as communicate, provide, superior, survive. We also learn about different animals, how they survive, if they have special fur, or if they eat, save their food, store their food, or they sleep at night, sleep in the winter. And also we learned how different animals store or save their food over the winter, over the season. We also learn about different animals that they have different body to catch and hunt for the food. And also we learn about the vulture that they eat special or unusual food. And we know that vulture was not eating the snake or fox or bear, but vultures were looking for weak food or dead extinct animal. So let's see what we have here.
Genre: poetry. Compare texts. Read about how a mouse survives winter.
All right, so this is a poetry explaining how the mouse survives in a winter. So we're going to see how they store their food, or first we'll see the weather, they explain their bodies, and then how they store their food to eat it when it's snowy. So let's start.
When It's Snowing by Aileen Fisher. Little mouse with narrow feet that you keep so white and neat. When it's snowing, freezing, blowing, do you get enough to eat? You're too little, mouse, to stray from your house on such a day. Weren't you wise to gather scores of munchy seeds to eat indoors?
All right, so let's listen one more time.
When It's Snowing by Aileen Fisher. Little mouse with narrow feet that you keep so white and neat. When it's snowing, freezing, blowing, do you get enough to eat? You're too little, mouse, to stray from your house on such a day. Weren't you wise to gather scores of munchy seeds to eat indoors?
Okay, so at this story or the poetry, they give us, they have two parts. First part, they're talking about the weather, explaining that the weather is snowing, freezing, blowing. So it's very severe, bad weather. And it's important because the title also, this is explaining the weather. It's important because the title is when it's snowing. So when the weather is cold and bad, and when it's winter, what happened, how the mice eat and store their food. And then after that, for this part, the second part, they explain that the mouse body, and they're little and neat and narrow. So they what they need, they feel like munching, and also thinking about all the sensor, like taste or feel, or smells, or even the way they look. So let's listen one more time.
When It's Snowing by Aileen Fisher. Little mouse with narrow feet that you keep so white and neat. When it's snowing, freezing, blowing, do you get enough to eat? You're too little, mouse, to stray from your house on such a day. Weren't you wise to gather scores of munchy seeds to eat indoors?
All right. So let's see now. This is a different. Now we learn about different kind of animals, what they eat, and as we see here, they say munching in seeds to eat indoors because they explain how bad the weather's outside. All right. Let's see. Make connections.
Make connections. What does the little mouse do to survive?
So as we see here in the picture, the mouse dig his hole, as this is his home, staying, gather the food before, and eating and munching the food that he stored, the mouse that stored before the weather, before the weather changed to winter and cold. So this is another way of surviving, that prepare for the severe winter or severe cold weather, and store enough food to eat and stay inside. Or different way, like when we saw bears, they hibernate, they sleep in the winter, or a squirrel, they store also in a different patch and different, they dig different holes. And also we see here like the mouse over here. Also we saw a different way of survival, like their body, the goat, the mountain goat, they get thick hair or thick fur to protect them from the cold snowy mountain parts, so in the winter. And then they have 2 layers. Or the otter, that they have thick fur, that when they swim in the cold ocean, they survive. Okay, so that was it for today. We talked today and about the animals that survive in nature or in the wild. All right. Thank you, first graders. Bye-bye.